Well, hello everybody. My name is Jim Cudney, National Sales Director here at Western Marketing. Um, thank you very much for everybody who chose to be here and make the webinar. We're really excited for this webinar. This is kind of a rebrand of a series we've done in the past on doubling your income and getting into other things that you might not currently have as part of your portfolio. Things like annuities, life insurance, etc. I know a lot of you on the call primarily sell health insurance, and so that's great. As we start, I just wanted to remind some of you, or let some of you know if you weren't on our last series, about our Life and Annuity Resource Center. So you should be able to see that on my screen now. Actually, Sean's on, so I'm gonna pivot. So just so you know, Sean Ruggiero is a good friend of mine, a mentor, and everything else. So Sean's actually going to do the presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it to him. One piece of housekeeping, if you have questions, ask them, that we're here for you. So Sean, welcome.
All right, can you hear me?
We can. Yes, sir.
Good. I want to be able to share my screen. You can see my screen, correct? And you can hear me. Those are the two elements I need. Good to see you again, my friend. Enjoyed hanging out with you and your wife last time, and I hope she's doing well. Not oversharing, but I hope she's doing well. So give her a hug for me. And yeah, I'm excited to be on. I think everybody, including yourself, Jim, and everybody who's participating, should be very proud. And why I say that is, when you implement something, it takes time. And I'm a football guy, so I always compare it to football. Jim, if I was going to come into a high school or college and put a whole new offense in, it takes time to have the right personnel. It takes time to understand the fundamentals. You're probably not going to go 11-0 that first season. It takes a few seasons. It takes a season maybe or two to get into that groove. Well, this also takes time. We have implemented an offense. Western has put together a phenomenal tool for you to double your income. We're going to talk about that, and that's not hyperbole. It really is legit, and we're going to show you how. And some of you have seen this before. It's a great refresher. Some of you have not seen it because this is going to be the lead-in to our life series. So we covered annuities, and we'll refresh everyone, and those are all well recorded and documented. Jim and I have done that series. But now we're going to cover the life side, and it really will double your income. And so you should be proud, because focusing on that, I pointed this out, as far as integrity marketing groups go, and there's over 200 of them, right? You all ranked third with year-to-year annuity growth, a nearly 40% increase of annuity growth. So kudos to you, Jim. Kudos to everybody on the call. And that should be motivation that what we're talking about actually works. So I'm going to now focus on the presentation here, how to double your income next year. And again, a little bit about myself, and I always say this somewhat seriously, somewhat teasing. Yeah, I don't like talking about myself, but my wife says I need to grow up. And it is important to understand a couple of things. First, I'm in business with you. I'm a managing partner in Integrity Marketing Group. I currently serve as the Chief Sales Officer for Brokers International. In 2015, I was voted as one of the 20 most creative people in life insurance by Life Health Pro. It had a lot to do with thinking outside the box, using technology, developing software like Insurance Drift, which you all have access to. We did a webinar on that. Jim, of course, has it recorded and in your Life and Annuity Resource Center. And I am a securities agent. I have a securities license. I have multiple certifications, designations, and I even owned my own RIA. Why is that important? Is it important because of my ego? Absolutely not. It's important because it helps you understand that you should have confidence. See, when I first got in this business, I was pretty decent at sales, and I had to sell to feed my family. I had to sell to pay my bills. And so I would go, it took me almost 2 years Took me about 20 months to sell my first annuity. Why? Because I was intimidated. I wasn't confident. I felt that there had to be some smart person with a securities license and all this alphabet soup behind their name, right? So, who would look at what I was offering and laugh at it. They had something better. So my insecurities led me to a lot of education, a massive amount. And I studied hard, and I became very, very aware and understood all the financial products and avenues out there. And here's the funny thing, it came full circle. When it comes to three things for life insurance and three things for annuities, an FIA or a whole life or an IUL are the best. There's no ETF, there's no mutual fund, there's no closed-end fund, there's no leverage, there's no buffered note, there's no options, there's no derivatives. There is nothing that beats life insurance and annuities when it comes to the three things. And here's the deal, Jim, Western is working with a lot of people who are 65 and older. They need these benefits, and we're going to review these benefits. So that's why it's important you understand some of my knowledge and education. I am the founder of SafeMoneySmart.org, a nonprofit dedicated to making the public aware to alternatives to risk in retirement. And I am the author of one of the top selling books on annuities and retirement, 7 Benefits of FIAs for Retirement. So that's a little bit about myself. An important notice, myself, Integrity Western, and any of its affiliates, this is not direct tax advice. This is not legal or accounting advice, okay? It's prepared for informational purposes. So always, with yourself and with your clients, have them seek and consult their own tax, legal, and accounting advisors before engaging in any transaction. So, double my income. Jim, it sounds a little bit far-fetched, right? How are you going to double my income, right? What is this? What do I have to buy? Is this a Ponzi scheme? Is this an MLM? No, it's not. It's real. Yes, you absolutely can do it. And here's the deal. You can do it with the same license that you already have. You don't have to buy leads. No one's going to push any costs on you or agenda on you. And it's with the clients you already service. So Western has put together a system, and I'm going to show you how this works. We first need to understand what our license does. All right. Jim, I've run these analogies by you before, but if I asked you, what does a 6th grade English teacher do? You would say, well, they teach English to 6th graders, or they teach English at a 6th grade level, which is probably about the level that I read. But my point being, I know what a 6th grade English teacher does, even though I'm not a 6th grade English teacher. What does a diesel mechanic do? Or a jet engine repairman? It's in the name. They repair jet engines, right? A diesel mechanic repairs and builds and services diesel engines. And I know nothing about diesel engines. As far as I know, it's wizardry that makes that work. I know that they don't use a spark plug. Someone told me that once, so I throw it out as a factoid like I know what I'm talking about. But I know what they do. Now, what does an insurance agent do? What does an insurance agent do? Well, an insurance agent can do many things. But the problem is this, Jim, you've seen this in your career. You've seen this managing with Western. They silo themselves. They start to specialize in one aspect. So an insurance agent can sell life insurance. And what is life insurance? Life insurance is you protecting someone's human capital. Someone's human capital is their ability to do, learn, and earn. When I'm 20 years old, I'm broke, or whatever below broke is, like dead broke. I'm dead broke. But I've got a lot of runway. I've got a tremendous amount of ability to do, learn, and earn. So I have a lot of human capital, and it's very valuable. All right. Now I exchange that human capital in an idyllic situation, right? And most people, I think of my father-in-law, worked for Boeing for 40 years. He exchanged human capital for what? For financial capital, for savings, for 401ks, for paid off houses, for investments, for assets. And at some point, we have an intersection. When our human capital is waning, our financial capital is large enough that we can then retire on. But see, if you're a Medicare agent, what do? You protect financial capital. How's that, you say, Sean? How do you protect financial capital? Simple. You are literally protecting their financial capital from healthcare cost overruns, from unpredictable healthcare costs. That is probably the most valuable thing you could do outside of maybe, or equal to maybe, selling a fixed index annuity, or really any annuity, to protect their financial capital. So my point is this: you need to understand everything that an insurance agent does, and you need to utilize all your license. Because Jim, you and I both know, when people listening to this, the hardest thing about our job is getting in front of people. The hardest thing about our job is just getting someone to listen. Once they do, they realize that we have expertise. So they realize that we can offer something that they need. Why put yourself on a track where you only do one thing? Again, I'll use a football analogy. If I was given the best offensive line of all time, the best two running backs of all time, the best blocking receivers, and I was told to go coach an NFL team, but the caveat is I can't throw the ball, I have to run it every time, Jim, I'm probably not winning a single game, right? If I'm selling cars and I'm saying I only sell trucks, I can't sell sedans, or I can't sell minivans, or I can't sell used, but I can sell new, or vice versa, why? Why are you hamstringing yourself? So our goal here and through Western is to help you utilize all of your human capital, or all of your license, to protect human capital, financial capital, and provide complete protection. So, quick sip. The important thing is to have confidence. Have confidence. See, that's what I learned. I needed confidence before I could sell fixed index annuities. So here's why you should have the confidence, and memorize these three things. This will be recorded. This can be distributed out. Request it from Jim. He'll send it to you. But understand this: the fixed index annuity, or FIA, is one of the fastest growing tools for retirees today. And it's popular because it's not an investment of risk, but it's a guaranteed contract at the state level that provides these three things. Remember these three things. Number one, it eliminates market loss. You will never lose money in the market again. How many of your clients, think about this, how many of your clients at age 65, at age 66, at age 70, or whatever it is, 50, 55, right, as they start to go into retirement, how many of them are concerned about what's going to happen in the election? What if there's an assassination? This isn't all political. What if there is, there's war in the Middle East. There is a land war, the first ever in Europe since World War II, a legitimate land war happening right now. What if there's a tsunami that takes out Seattle or California? What if there's another pandemic? What if there's a terrorist attack in New York? This used to seem like made up whatever. It's not. It's real. It's the world we live in. So if you're 65 and you're watching the news, CNN or Fox News, you could not go to sleep at night potentially because you're worried, because we have a market-driven retirement. I talk about it in the first chapters of my book. Since 1980, since the advent of the 401k, there's no more pensions. They've all died off. It is a market-driven retirement. So if you can eliminate market loss, how much more happy are you going to be in your retirement? That's a real thing, and FIAs provide that. Number two, participate in market gains. Now, I want to be very clear. Never sell an FIA as something better than the market for getting gains. Never say it's going to get all the gains. Never say it's going to beat the market. It's not designed to do it. And what you're doing is you're putting 100-pound or 1,000-pound gorilla on your back and stressing yourself out. And you will eventually either get in trouble or not sell these things anymore because it'll no longer be enjoyable. Sell them for what they are, these three things. And number two is you participate in market gains. You get some of the gains and none of the loss. And every year you get a gain, it's locked in. You didn't have to buy low and sell high and have great timing, Jim. If it's up, it'll lock it in. If it's down, you lose nothing. I love that part. I love that aspect of a fixed index annuity. And third, even though this isn't your granddad's annuity, this is a much more contemporary, smartly built annuity, the FIA, it is still annuity. And only annuities have mortality credits, and only annuities can create a paycheck for life for you, your spouse, your children, however you want to divide it up. So agents, listen, if you're serious about doubling your income, just memorize these three things. I don't care what someone asks you, these are the three things. And if it's of interest to them, we can help them out. If it's not, we're going to move on to the next client. No harm, no foul. Now, the same thing for whole life. Now, Jim, you notice I'm saying whole life, right? Let me give everybody a very quick education. We're going to talk about this in some of our upcoming webinars because we're going to be focused on the life insurance aspect. But there are two basic types of life insurance. There is term and whole life. That's it. Now, there is different types of term, increasing term, decreasing term, paid up addition term, right? Okay, we got all that. But there's different types of whole life too. Regular whole life or straight whole life, universal life, variable universal life, and index universal life. So we focus primarily on index universal life. So for this understanding, kind of swap out whole life with IUL. They're kind of interchangeable, but we really focus on IULs because they are a more intelligent form of whole life. And here's what I mean by that. Jim, if I were going to ask you as a client, if you're sitting there with a client and I said, hey, Jim, do you think that the market is going to go down every month of every year for the rest of your life, and you could be living for 3 decades? I mean, isn't that kind of asinine? You're not going to think that. No,
Right.
I don't think that, Sean. Okay, great. Well, do you think the market's going to go up and down every year? Like, we'll never make a gain. We'll just kind of go stasis. And for the record, the only time the market's gone down 3 or 3.5 years in a row was in 1929. That's called the Great Depression. It's never happened since. We've had 2 bad down years. We've had 2 out of 4, right? You see what I'm saying? But we've never had 3 or more in a row. So my point is this: if you have some faith in the market, allowing the insurance policy to have indirect investments, we're going to talk about that in the market, it's a smarter form of whole life. But that being said, it is still whole life. And whole life has these 3 benefits that are superior to any other financial asset. And I want you to understand that word, financial asset. IULs, whole life insurance. Life insurance is a financial asset. It is not investment. Please, if you are hearing about this, if you're watching TikTok, if you're trying to get people to cash out their 401k and put it into an IUL, you're going to go to hell. That's not what we should be doing. We should be using it to supplement, and I'm going to teach you how. I'm going to get you so confident in whole life insurance and IULs that you will be able to go out there and help your clients with a servant's heart and feel good about doing it and reap great rewards for you and your family. So here are the 3 things that whole life or IULs provide. First, guarantees in retirement. See, people don't understand that sometimes, Jim. If you buy Tesla, you have no guarantees, right? No guarantees. In fact, did you know, I read a book, a very interesting book called Dead Companies Walking. And it was about someone whose job was just to pick which companies are declining, looking at their assets, looking at their balance sheets, looking at their P&L, and would buy options on them. And then when they were liquidated, would buy assets. Sounds kind of grievous, like wow, that's a real thing. Yes, because you have no guarantees with a stock investment. All right. In fact, unless it's a treasury bond, a bond can go defunct too, right? An investment grade bond is highly unlikely, and I feel confident in those. But my point is this: they don't offer guarantees. See, whole life insurance can have guarantees. It can have guaranteed death benefits. It can have guaranteed premiums. It can have guaranteed cash values. Number 2, it has access to tax-free cash, and the death benefit is tax-free. Now, notice I didn't say this. Notice I'm not trying to sell someone some snake oil, which unfortunately is happening. We need to put an end to it in this industry, where I say, hey, you're 65, throw $500 a month in this policy, and by age 70 or 75, you can retire tax-free. That's not true. That's not true. That's not enough runway. Their mortality costs are too high. They're not able to sock away enough cash. It doesn't fit in their budget. They'd have to put something like $5,000 a month, right? So know this: you don't need it to do that. When someone's 20, 25, 30, even 40, 45 years old, yes, you can do that with an IUL. But I want you to focus on the conservative and the basic and the true. Whole life insurance can provide access to tax-free cash, and any death benefit passes to your loved ones tax-free, okay? So whole life insurance should be considered as an alternative to conservative financial assets, an alternative to putting money in CDs, an alternative to put your money in investment grade bonds. It's not a competitor with stocks. They're 2 different things. And then finally this: have confidence with whole life because they have benefits to offset healthcare and long-term care costs. Jim, I saw an article from LTC.gov, right? Longtermcare.gov. It was an agency agnostic report, and it said that 70% of people who are alive at 65, and that would resonate. Isn't that a lot of the people that y'all work with? 70% of them are going to need some form of long-term care. Men, about 2.2 years. Women, because they're smarter and tougher, 3.2 years, right? Yet only 5% have true long-term care insurance. Now, I want to be very clear. Life insurance is not long-term care insurance. I'm going to repeat that. Life insurance is not long-term care insurance, but it has something called living benefits that allow you to access the death benefit tax-free to help offset these healthcare costs. And Jim, in some cases, it's actually more flexible. You don't have to go as a reimbursement, or if you can't perform 2 of 6 ADLs, activities of daily living, and you have to have your niece come and help you and take care of you, you can actually get cash to pay your niece, right? And that's some pretty cool flexibility that doesn't exist within a traditional long-term care policy. So I'm not saying it's superior, and I'm not saying it's long-term care insurance, but it is a phenomenal alternative. And we are working with Western on creating sales systems so you can go in the off season after open enrollment and come back and help people satisfy that very scary thing, which is number 3, a long-term care cost. It really is an epidemic. So that's why we have confidence. Now, here's what I want to do, Jim. I want to go through 2 quick scenarios and then open up for questions. It's that simple. Let's start with Bridget, who is 65 years old. Now, Bridget has a $225,000 IRA, all right, individual retirement account. I'm going to show you how I discovered that. She wants to retire by 70. Here are her concerns. She's concerned about living too long, and she's concerned about losing money in the stock market. She sees what's going on today, and it worries her. So how did I find this out? Here's the trick. Over the last 20 years, I developed 3 companies that I sold to Integrity. Right? I work for brokers now. I've worked as a consultant and been on the advisory board for Athene, for F&G. I know and have seen how to approach this. And there's 2 basic ways. When I came into this industry, Jim, you know what I would see a lot? I would see life insurance or health agents who are going into a home and they're asking very personal questions. So Jim, if I sat down with you and your wife and I said, give me your name, your date of birth, your height, weight, your social, your driver's license, tell me what medications you're taking, would you agree these are very personal questions? I mean, yeah, but you're going to answer them because you know those questions correlate to why I am in your house or why we are having a Zoom call or a phone call. So you provide them. But then here's the problem. I saw agents that tried to shift to an annuity sale or a life sale. And you know how they did it? They would say, Jim, let me ask you another question. Or Bridget, as our 6 or 5-year-old. Do you have a 401k? How is it performing? See, here's the problem with that. There's 3 basic elements of error when it comes to that. First, remember how I told you I wasn't confident because I felt there was someone else better out there who had a better product? I'm not confident. I feel uncomfortable asking that question because I'm not a securities agent. I don't do that day in and day out. Number 2, the client isn't confident. The client just gave you their social, their driver's license, their height, weight. Heck, the man told you he was on Viagra. How embarrassing is that, right? Like, I mean, they give you all the medications. Yet, when you ask them, how's your 401k doing? Whoop, the defenses go up. And they should. That's not why you're there. And then the third thing is this. You're blurring the line where you might need a securities license. You don't want to start going down that path. Confidence and compliance, confidence and compliance. I preach it over and over again. That's what we want to see. So here's what we do. We ask the golden question. See, rather than this long, 7-page analysis of their stocks and bonds that has those 3 errors that I just talked about, I ask one simple question. Hey, Jim, to get a better understanding, of your situation, again, I've asked all these other questions. Do you have any life insurance? Yes or no? But do you have anything that acts like life insurance? Something that's going to go probate free over to your loved ones if you die, like, and we always want to give examples, like a 401k, an IRA, or an annuity, right? Are you self-insured? Are you self-insured? See, that's the golden question right there. Boom. Why? Because I'm confident in asking that. That seems to fall in line with my questions. Secondly, Jim is comfortable answering that. And third, that's not a securities question. That is a protection question. Now, in this instance, Bridget, getting back to the example, her answer was yes, I do. I do. Yes, I have an IRA. And I just say, hey, rough numbers, how much is it? She says $225,000. Great. Very important note. Whether it is because of the legal aspects of Med Advantage or just because you do not want to be late to your next appointment, or because you really needed to use the rest of the system to be best prepared, you do not stop what you're doing and start to try to sell an annuity. You simply make a note of it. That's it. You simply make a note of that. And I'm going to show you what you do at the end of conducting the business or concluding the business that you're there to conduct. So she says yes. Now, when I'm getting ready to leave, I say, hey, Bridget, I don't have much time now, but let me ask you a question. When I pose the question, do you have anything like that acts like life insurance? I mean, are you self-insured? And see, people have an ego. They want to be self-insured. I have a buddy who is like really broke. He's a great dude, but he owns a duplex, lives in one side, rents out the other. And if you ask him, do you have any investment properties? See, there's a sex appeal to that. There's an allure to that. Yeah, I have investment properties. He would tell you that. He thinks he's Donald Trump, right? He's a real estate mogul. Okay, because he wants to answer yes. You'll get the same phenomenon when you ask the golden question. When you ask someone, are you self-insured? They pound their chest and they say, well, yes, I am. I have 300,000 or 50,000. And one man's 50,000 is another woman's 500,000, right? It's all relative. So now at the end of the business, and I tell them, hey, I got another Zoom call or I'm driving to another house, you ask this segue question. Bridget, you said you had that you're self-insured. You had $225,000. Is that money protected? What have you done to protect it? It is intentionally ambiguous because you're going to find out right away that if you did a good job, you need to be professional, not become their best friend, but build rapport. And if you have leaded and guided and directed them, they're going to give you a good answer. And they're going to say, Sean, I don't know what you mean. Oh, let me explain, Bridget. All right. So the fixed index annuity or FIA is one of the most rapidly growing tools for retirees today. It's popular because it's not an investment of risk. It's a guaranteed contract at the state level that provides these three things. You see, I'm gratuitously repeating myself. Eliminate market loss. You're going to sleep well at night. Participate in market gains, right? You participate in the gains, you never participate in losses. And it's still an annuity, so you create a paycheck for life, right? We get that. We see that. So now what do? Now you go to the Life and Annuity Resource Center that Jim has set up with Western Marketing, and you simply click on Ask a Specialist. So you didn't have to open your laptop, make yourself late for your next appointment, okay? You didn't have to know what your password is, which carrier you're going to use, are you even contracted, how to run the illustrations, how to present it, right? That's why we don't run annuities, because they're intimidating. All you do is click on the Ask a Specialist. And there's going to be a form that guides you, and it's secure and encrypted, and it sends it over to a team of specialists that Western and BI have put together. And you've got licensed agents, you got people with certifications, people who are adept at estate planning, and they're going to send you back a scenario. Now I want to show you this. This is the scenario that we chose for this, and this is a real product that you have access to. This is the Fidelity and Guarantee with guaranteed rates. Okay, you can see over the left side, guaranteed rates. So Bridget, if we put your $225,000 in, you're going to get a 15% bonus day one. So it's going to go to $258,750. That's your cash. That's not a fake account. That's your real cash. Now this has an 8% cap. So it will participate in the S&P 500 up to 8%. But if the market went down every month for every year for the rest of your life, it's guaranteed to never lose money. So if you wanted to turn on the income at age 70, Bridget, it's going to start paying you a little under $14,000 every single year for the rest of your life. And if you lived to 95, you would have taken out $344,000. And I'll tell you what, we're wasting our time talking about this because no one believes the market's going to go down every month, every year for the rest of their life. But the state law says I have to show you this. And if it happened, if ISIS took over the United States, I'm not laughing, I'm just saying, if something as crazy as that happened, You picked the best investment out there because you never lost a dime. You had a 15% bonus and a guarantee that would pay you for the rest of life. Okay, I like it. But let's talk about more realistic scenario. What if the market looking backwards, backcasting, did the same thing looking forward? It's going to look somewhat like that. Maybe a little better, maybe a little worse, but somewhat like that. Now you take that $225,000, you get that 15% bonus day one, it starts to earn interest. You have an 8% cap, and you can see that it earns 8%, and then 0, then 8, then 8, then 0, then 8, then 8, then 8, then 0, then 8. What it's showing you is that when the market's up, you get the first 8%. When the market's down, you lose nothing. You lock in those gains, and you take income. Now, instead of just under 14, you're over $17,000. And look what happens at age 77. That income jumps up. Why? Because your contract is still growing. And if it grows high enough, it will actually add more income. So if the market does great, you didn't screw yourself over by locking in a low rate. It actually increases your income, and it will pay you for the rest of your life. So now we look at Bridget, age 95. She has taken out $486,000, never sleeping poorly at night, knowing she's getting that paycheck. And she still has nearly $250,000 of cash that she could use for long-term care costs, healthcare costs. She could go on a vacation of her lifetime. She could give it to her loved ones, right? Give it to a charity. She could do whatever she wants with it. So it shows you that she has access to the cash. Very, very powerful. And based on low to average commissions, do you know what Jim's team is going to pay you on this? On that simple scenario, $12,000. So you can see quite quickly, ask yourself, could I sell this? Could I sell this? Because when you send something to the Ask a Specialist, they're not just going to ignore you. They're not just going to send you over, hey, do this, figure it out. They're going to make sure you're contracted with the carrier. They're going to pick the best carrier, be in line with the best interest rule, which is now adopted essentially by all 50 states. They're going to have that documented. So you have a team that backs you up. And they're going to give you a narration on why this is the products you should use. And they're going to give you a couple of videos to watch so you can learn it. And then they're going to give you their phone number, their email, and you can contact them with questions. And I'm telling you this, don't be afraid to fail. Be honest and transparent with your customer. Hey, this is the first time I've done this, but I got a team of specialists that has recommended it. I'm going to do my best to explain it to you. Anything I can't answer, I'll contact them and I'll get you the answer. But what I do know is this, it's going to protect your money from market loss. You'll sleep well at night. It's going to participate market gains. So it has a really high earning potential compared to CDs and money market accounts and treasury bonds. And you can generate guaranteed lifetime income. And you get a $12,000 paycheck. One more scenario, Bridget, 65. Now in this situation, I changed a little bit, right? Jim, in this situation, I showed her husband, who is also 65, but he's in worse health. Type 2 diabetes, he's maybe taking some various medications that would make him a lower rated client. And she's concerned because if she's going to live a long time, he's not, then she's worried about losing that spousal income, like Social Security. She's worried about the unknown long-term costs for him and for her. And she would like to cover the end of life costs because they have no IRA. In this situation, when I asked, do you have something that acts like life insurance? The golden question, she said no. So we first have some empathy. I understand it's hard to do that these days, but she says no. We say, great. And here's our segue question. Again, we conclude the business that we're there to conduct, but then at the end, we come back and we say, hey, Bridget, I don't have time right now, but let me ask you a quick question. When I asked you if you had something that acts like life insurance, I mean, are you self-insured? Do you have a 401k, an IRA, or annuity, something to pass on to your spouse or for your spouse to pass on you? You said no. So can I ask you something? Have you considered an IUL to supplement your retirement? Again, I was professional. I built rapport, but I didn't become her best friend. I did a good job. And she said, please explain. It's intentionally a bit ambiguous. I say, well, Bridget, we use IUL. You see, I've swapped whole life with IUL. We use IULs. It's a form of whole life because it's a financial asset, not an investment. And it does these three things better than any other financial tool. First, it has guarantees, right? Investments don't have guarantees, Bridget. IULs do. they guarantee that, or they can guarantee, it depends on how you write it up or what product you choose. They can give you a guaranteed death benefit. So when your husband dies, it passes cash on to you. We can guarantee the premiums, make sure that it never go up. And we can even guarantee cash values. It also gives you access to tax-free cash and a tax-free death benefit. All right. It's one of the few things that you can, if you needed money or if you wanted to offset a high income year, you could just take money out of the IUL and pay yourself and it's tax-free. And anything that is there when you die or when your husband dies comes to you tax-free, and that is critical. And then finally, I don't know if you're aware of this epidemic, but the long-term care epidemic is real. Longtermcare.gov reports that 70% of people your age are going to need some form of long-term care. And with your husband's help, it's very likely. I mean, I'm no expert, but I would guess it's even higher than 70%. Yet less than 5% have any long-term care. And you notice real quick, I had that question. We added that, Jim and I added that question onto the financial inventory. So you can trigger right there and say, Bridget, you don't have any long-term care. And right now, trying to get that husband who's not healthy and he's 65 on a fixed budget, there's a really good chance you don't get approved and a really good chance that it's too expensive. So with life insurance, even though I want to be very clear, life insurance is not long-term care, right? I stressed that before. It has benefits to offset healthcare costs and long-term care costs. Again, I will make this one brief because I told you before. What do? You submit it to Ask a Specialist. This time you click on the Life tab, you submit it. Within 24, 48 hours, they're going to return everything to you. And here's just an example. They chose a Mutual of Omaha IUL Express, one of the best products out there. They have a $100,000 death benefit. The client's paying less than $3,000 a year. They have a guaranteed value. Again, if you think the market's going to go down every year, every month for the rest of your life, well, then that would be the guarantees. But I don't want to waste your time or mine, Bridget, because I don't think either of us feel that that's going to happen, but the state regulates that we put a guarantee. So what we could look at is the non-guaranteed or the midpoint, meaning if the market did really terrible, it would be the midpoint. If the market did what it normally does, it would be the non-guaranteed. But you can see that if he dies, if your husband lives all the way to 85, which is not likely in his health, you would have put $59,000 into this policy, okay? And it would pay out $100,000 tax-free. So what we did is we just gave her 10 years of income, 10 years. I don't know about you, Jim, but I'm positive my wife's going to live longer than me, right? That's why I have life insurance, because I want to pass that on to help supplement the income that she's going to lose from my Social Security or whatever it might be. And then you get rewarded with a $3,000 commission. So here are the steps to doubling your income. And we've covered the life or the annuity series. Those are all recorded and on the resource center. I encourage you, reach out to Jim, say, where do I get these, and watch them again. But only if you're serious about doubling your income. No one's going to force you. It's up to you. And I'm not being an ass. I'm just saying that's what you have to do. You have to educate yourself, and you have to be willing to fail. You're not going to be great your first time. Second time, you'll be a little better. Third time, you might be surprised. You're getting some sales. But here are the steps. First, download the financial inventory that is on the Life and Annuity Resource Center that Jim showed you in the beginning. Secondly, ask the golden question. Are you self-insured? Ask it every single time without fear. Third, submit all your scenarios through Western, through the Life and Annuity Resource Center. And your goal, this will happen if you do the first three, is to write at least one annuity per quarter and one IUL per month. All right, Jim, we have a few minutes here. Let's open it up for any questions.
Hey, Sean, thanks. Hey, guys and ladies, thank you for joining us. Now is the time where if you have questions, type them in the question box. I know Sean went through a lot of stuff really fast, but the key is to really just at the end of the day, ask that golden question, and that's going to start conversations. I've got multiple agents that I work with personally here at Western Marketing that have just added that as a normal part, either in their personal fact finder or in their conversation, and they're finding out that it actually works. And all of them are actually now So in annuities, where before they started doing that, they were only health insurance agents. Added bonus, the IULE that Mutual of Omaha has is getting a neat little upgrade at midnight tonight, actually. So technically Wednesday the 24th at midnight. It is going to have I believe, first of its kind section in the app where when you go through the app, before you even go through all the health questions, you can enter your client's basic information, and Mutual of Omaha will run the MIB script check and everything, and they're going to let you know it's going to either likely be declined or approved, and give you an opportunity to either stop right there or move forward. The kicker is, folks, on the Mutual of Omaha IULE, Term Express, and the Living Promise Final Expense products, those three simplified issue products, if you stop when they tell you to stop, because it's almost for sure not going to get approved, it will not count against your placement, and a decline will not show up on your client's MIB for life insurance, which is massive for clients. And this is a brand new thing that Mutual of Omaha is instituting on Wednesday, July 24th. So be on the lookout. I just sat in on some training on that yesterday. So guys, if you have any questions, let's talk. All these will be recorded. This is a 4-part series. So we like to get you on to kind of get you interested, but there's 3 more now that are going to come the next 3 weeks. Same bat day, same bat time every week, guys. So we try and make it simple so you can just mark out the same time, same day on your calendar. But if you do not make it, that's fine. If you've got an appointment, run that appointment. Shoot me or somebody here at Western Marketing an email and say, hey, I missed yesterday or I missed Tuesday's webinar on the IULs. Can you send me that recording? And we'll get it out to you. We have the 9-week annuity recordings, and now we're going to add on to that the 4 weeks, really focusing on transitioning that conversation to IULs, all in an effort to really, the goal is to support our customer, right? To give a holistic approach instead of just a one product that Sean was talking about. It's great to be a specialist, but when you really want to be an insurance professional, you look at a holistic problem-solving approach for your clients. So it does not look like, Sean, we have any questions. So you obviously, like normal, you did a great job. But folks, before we go, again, my name is Jim Codney. I'm National Sales Director here at Western Marketing. Our number is 800-852-7152. Again, 800-852-7152. You can ask for myself or our marketers on our life and annuity team, Amanda Johnson or Tyler Marr. Any of us would be happy to help you out, answer questions, work up scenarios. Definitely use the annuity resource or life and annuity resource center. If you have questions on how to find that, call us and ask us. We're happy to help you out. We truly have servant's hearts here. Our job is to help you with your business. We appreciate your trust in Western Marketing, and we want to help you grow, because when you grow, we grow. So with that, Sean, thank you as always to you and the team at Brokers International for not only your partnership and support, but your friendship. Sean works with a couple great people that I'm hoping you'll get to meet in the next few weeks, Liz and Brad, who will be on these, who on a day-to-day basis are the foundation of support for me and our team. So really looking forward to it. So with that, everybody, I just hope you have a great day. Thank you for everything, and take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.